Warning: this show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewers' discretion is advised. This show may contain strong language and sensitive or controversial topics. We are not attorneys and are not providing legal advice. The views and conversations are our own thoughts and feelings, and therefore, purely speculation.
The entertainment world and beyond.
Skywalker air miles, feeding on a surface, glide on water, constricted and conflicted.
Welcome to Purely Speculation, a show that exposes the harmful effects of the criminal legal system. I'm your host, Heather Lewis, the Executive Director of the Reuniting Family Bail Fund and practitioner of participatory defense. On this show, you'll learn about the unspoken horrors of the criminal justice system and meet fierce allies and advocates. We will make the best of our traumatic experiences. We will get angry. We may even cry. We most certainly going to laugh, but one thing's for sure, we're going to keep it real. Welcome to Purely Speculation.
When they free my sins and let them loose, they was killing me, I got scars to prove, got me paralyzed, I could even barely move. Out the way I took the pain again.
Hey, y'all. Welcome. Season 3, volume 24. 2-4, y'all. We killing it. We keeping it moving. We got none other than court watcher extraordinaire Taria, who's out to dinner. So he just called me bugging out tonight, and that's all good. That's what's up. How you doing, T? You gotta unmute yourself, girl.
No, I have to cheat because I have to change my whole diet around after next week.
Oh shoot! Oh, you getting it in?
No, just wing night at PJ Woolahan's.
Oh, okay, I was about to ask who's sponsoring our meal tonight. All right, shout out to PJ Woolahan's.
Yeah.
So, tell us what's going on, because I know you had to, but we did a pivot because they gone to online arraignment hearings, and you've been doing that with us or for us for a couple of weeks now. So it's convenient for folks that are interested in doing some court watching, or they want to see what it's about without having to kind of jump in or leave the comfort of their home to go to the courthouse or make that drive or pay for parking and all that kind of stuff. That is an easy way to observe at least the arraignment hearings. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the last couple of weeks with the arraignment hearings?
Did you go mute?
No, I'm not. Can you hear me?
Hear you. I can hear you. I was letting you go ahead talk.
Oh yeah, no. I'm ready for you. Tell us how the hearings have been going the last couple of weeks.
Very, very interesting. The good thing about the arraignments that I find, well, first you can do them in the comfort of your own home, and
Right.
sometimes I'll be in the comfort of my own bed.
I
So,
know that's right.
especially the 9:30 in the morning ones, because I'm just like basically just pretty much. I mean, I'm already up at crack of dawn, but it's just that in the morning, about 9:30, I'm not all the way officially out of bed yet.
Right.
Usually the 2:30 and 7:30 ones, I'm up in a chair with my notepad, taking notes if possible. It's other court watchers that's on Zoom also, and then also pre-trials, the DA's office, the public defender's office, and the judge.
Are there any other, before you go on, are there any family members on? Like, have you ever seen family members on? I know that we've got some of us folks in the space, but any family?
That's a funny thing. I never seen family. I've never seen family on there, but the other day a judge did ask me, and that was the first time a judge asked me, was I on here for a specific case, or am I my family member of a specific case? So I believe that if family members probably did want to attend their loved one's arraignment, I believe that they will be able to, because it's public kind of records, I believe.
It is. I guess my question is, do families even know that their loved one had got arrested and are being arraigned? That usually happens within 24, 48 hours at the most. Like these people, it happens relatively quickly. From
Yes,
arrest.
yes. And then some of them actually stay overnight. Some of them actually stay overnight sometimes in a police station or at the jail, and then get arraigned the next morning, depending on what time they got arrested.
Right.
So like I did the other day, it wasn't no hearings scheduled. So I guess the day before they have a couple scheduled, especially the 9:30 in the morning ones. They're usually probably from the night before people. But other than that, at like at 2:30, it wasn't no hearings. Like nobody got arrested, nobody got in trouble between 9 and 12 to make that cutoff at the 2:30 hearings.
Right.
So sometimes you might go a whole day without a hearing.
Oh wow! I was going to ask, like, is there a time, a time of day and or a particular day? Like, I would think Mondays would be like Monday mornings would be hot, you know what I'm saying? But maybe not. You know what I mean? So, is there a day? Are you seeing a day and time that kind of is trending to be more busy than others?
Yeah. So it's a lot of to me, and not to me 9:30 in the morning is very 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 packed with hearings, and then 7:30 it seems to be really kind of packed with some hearings. Sometimes like you get up to like 10 hearings in one session.
Wow.
And different judges are all of them seem like they're pretty fair as far as respectful, fair, and they interact with you, and they ask you questions. They ask you, where you from, what's your purpose, and things like that. And then sometimes when we're waiting in between, and like a client and a lawyer has a breakout, the judge might conversate and just, start asking us like, what kind of drove us to want to do this kind of work, and or who are, and then sometimes the other court reservers that's on, they're through an organization, and the judge kind of asks us like questions to them also.
Okay, and we were kind of annoyed at first because what people need to understand is that there's 30 MDJs. So these arraignment hearings are happening at the district level. So when somebody gets arrested, it's no longer that particular judge in that jurisdiction that's hearing the arraignment hearing. It's whatever judge is on call, so that now we get to see and meet each and every, there's 30 district judges in Montgomery County. And so being able to observe these via Zoom, you get to meet and see how each of these MDJs are performing. Like you said, they're asking questions, they're interested, they're wanting to know more. And so I think that's really promising in that aspect, outside of just, observing and the procedure, but also too getting these judges to understand that there are people out here doing this work, holding them accountable for how they treat the people that are coming in front of them. So yeah, I think that's a really positive highlight to hear that they're receiving this well, and we intend to make sure that that is something that continues. So if there's folks out there that are interested in court watching, Taria is our court watch coordinator. So, we have some interns that are going to be starting with us. So we are going to make sure that we have, the arraignments are handled right now, but one of the best, well, not the best, but that in-person hearings with the court of common pleas, you get a different experience, a completely different vibe. But tell me what the type of arraignments that you've seen over the last couple of weeks.
So I had some arraignments for homicide, some arraignments for stalking, had some arraignments for ICC violations. That's a contempt. ICC is basically a criminal contempt on a PSA violation.
Okay.
I have seen a lot of firearm charges, arraignments. I've seen a lot of retail theft.
Mhm.
I want to say that 60% of the arraignments within a week's time are retail thefts. And they're like females, a lot of females. That's where the females come in at. And a lot of even males.
Mhm.
And low budget retail thefts, but these people are like two times the offender for retail theft. So basically, some of them are at the level where a retail theft goes from, I guess, a summary to a misdemeanor, and these people come in and they become at a felony level because how many times they did it.
Right.
Then I'm also seeing a lot of hearings for failure to appear.
Mm.
A lot of people that have got bench warrants for not appearing at court. And some of the people that didn't appear at court for other charges were already incarcerated. So it kind of was like the communication between the jail and the courthouses are not coming between, the wires are not crossing.
Right. Got you.
Then I'm also seeing a lot of fugitive arraignments. And that's basically a warrant when out of state. So it's a
Right.
lot of people coming with charges in South Carolina. Another guy had charges in Atlanta, Philadelphia County, and
Mhm.
different counties.
Right.
Depending on what judge it is. So what I did learn is that whatever judge starts at 9:30 in the morning is a judge that is through the whole day. So it's all on-call judges that rotate, and they all get the DJ judges all get that one day to be on call for arraignments.
Right.
So wherever you get at 9:30, you get the same judge up until 7:30. And then pretrial. Now pretrial, sometimes you might see the same pretrial officer, but then sometimes every shift is a different pretrial officer.
Okay. And what does the pretrial officer do? Are they defending? Is that there's a public defender there, right?
Yes, it's on the Zoom. It's usually the judge, the public defender, the ADA, the court observers, and the pretrial services officer, and of course the people that are accused of the crimes.
Right. So what role is the pretrial officer playing? Are they asking
They're the
questions?
ones that, yeah. So the pretrial officers are the ones that bring the defendants down. They're the ones that run the arraignment court,
Okay.
and they're the ones that give stipulations to what level of pretrial someone should be on. So you got pretrial 2, and pretrial 3. 3 is the highest. That's basically a every other week check-in. So basically you got to check in by phone once a week, and then you got to check in person the next week. So 4 times a month, you have to check in the pretrial services on a level 3. That's the highest level you can be. Level 2, you check in twice a month. You go call one time, and then you check in one time. And then level 1 is basically check in monthly.
Got you. Is the pretrial officer making recommendations on the bail amount?
No. So the bail amount recommendations usually come from the police departments. And also the DA has their fight to bail, and then the PD has their fight to bail.
Okay. With the retail thefts, I mean, I understand that there, I guess, similar to DUI, I guess it's an escalating charge. And so are you seeing that 60% retail theft? What percentage of them are getting cash bail?
Now that's funny that you say that, because it was one night that a particular judge, she even gave over $100,000 bail unsecured.
For retail theft?
No, on a stalking charge.
Okay.
The whole night from 9:30 to 7:30, everybody left out with unsecured bail.
Right. Wow. And so this is a question because I wasn't quite sure. So unsecured bails, even if there's a dollar amount attached to it, that does not get reviewed by the bail review hearing within the 24-hour period. They don't get reviewed.
No. So the unsecured don't get reviewed. That's the only ones that don't get reviewed. And the reason why I know that is because it was a young man that we were affiliated with that had got an unsecured bail, and it was for over 100,000. And his family didn't think that he was going to get out that night because he thought that he would have to get it reviewed. So I was able to get in contact with the pretrial services, and they told me that he was after they do a check. So what happens that anyone that gets bail, they do a check before they let him go out the door. So they get a warrant check. They get a warrant check. They got to check them if they got a probation violation or if they wanted on any other bench warrants. On any other bench warrants. And so that's what they do before they release them. And when I called up there, I did ask would they have to get a review hearing, and they said no, they're good to go if they check out. Unsecured means they're out on their own recognizance, so they sign for their own bail.
Right. And so anybody that's listening, you just heard it, how it goes. So when someone has an issue with a bail, whether it's an unsecured bail, you think the bail is too low. I'm talking about being a community member and you're talking about, oh, you want to talk trash on the bail fund that we're posting bail for criminals and this and that. The judge assigns the bail, and judges, you can literally see and watch these elected officials. Okay, so if you have an issue with them, you can sit on these arraignment hearings and witness how they determine if they're going to assign cash bail to an individual and potentially for what for. You know what I'm saying? So anytime that you have an issue and you want to blame us or blame the DA or blame whomever, this is a process that you can watch from the safety of your own home. You don't have to go through the anxiety of going through security checkpoints when you go into the courthouse or even at the district level. If you want to go in person there's really very little security in those places. So if you have that anxiety of going into, being around police officers and things like that, these Zoom arraignment hearings are a wealth of information for you to understand what's happening in the criminal legal system here in Montgomery County. So if you are confused in any way, shape, or form, you can sit in, observe. If you have questions afterwards, feel free to give us a call. We can put you in contact with Taria. But it's literally, it's right here at your fingertips. There's the link if you want to hop on and observe the court here, the arraignment process, and it also gives you an idea of how these judges are performing in our community, in the system, when it comes to assigning bail, their demeanor, all those things. So when they come up for re-election, you at least have some knowledge about who this person is. You've seen them, you know what they've done. We don't know what the schedule is per se, as far as if you're going to see the judge that's in your area. But certainly hop on and check it out and see what's going on. And so, Taria, you were saying that it was an interesting last couple of weeks. So you shared that there were, you had one night where the judge, everybody got home. Everybody got a get out of jail free card, and they got to go home that day. Tell me about another day.
So then another day, it wasn't a so good day. So what I learned is that you gotta see how the judge's day starts out. So once that the judge's day starts out at 9:30, then you'll know by 2:30 at a 9:30 hearing, then you come in at 2:30, you might not get as lucky. Now, what I did see interested with Montgomery County that I haven't seen so much in Philadelphia County is automatic. But what I have been seeing lately is a lot of people been also getting 10% on the bill.
Mm,
And
okay.
Montgomery County wasn't one for that at one time.
Right, right,
Like Philadelphia gives you automatically 10% on any bill.
right.
And I've been seeing that a lot.
We're
But
the
it
only
was one.
county that utilizes all options. We're the only county that utilizes all options. Bucks, Berks, Delco, everywhere else. I'm not sure about Delco and Chester, but Berks, Bucks, they're 10% automatic also.
Yeah. And I also saw a lot of people with $77 bill added to their original bill that they were going to get.
Right.
Now, the PD's office does try when a person isn't going anywhere, he tries or she tries her best, because it seems like they have a rotation, but it seems like it's almost the same 2 to 3 PDs that's on
Right.
there. And I've been doing arraignment court now for like 2 months. And I
Mhm.
kind of seen the same PD. Like, so what I'm thinking happens, because I think the other day, one of the DAs asked the PD was they're going to be on all week.
Mm.
And he said, yeah, he's on to Saturday. So he was
Oh,
on from Monday to Saturday. So I guess that they rotate every week.
okay.
So he's the one guy that's the PD on there. He's always asking for unsecure, and he's always asking if you are a probation violator for $77.
Okay.
One day he asked for all unsecure, and the DA's office asked for all cash bills, high cash bills.
Hmm.
And the DA got one day, the worst time I seen was the DA got every bill they asked for cash. The
Wow.
judge went with that. Yeah. So it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss.
Did so that day when the judge was doing like all this cash bail, did they take into consideration their ability to pay, their flight risk, their anything those things that you're supposed to consider?
Nope.
So
Nope. Not at all.
does the defense attorney even attempt to argue like, hey, they don't have the ability to pay, they have a job, so if they're stuck here they're going to lose their job? Do they have an opportunity to even argue those facts?
So some ADAs will break down the whole charge and why they believe this person should have this, or they
Mhm.
would say, well, say for instance, I'm just using this as a police department. They would say, well, Abington wants a request of $10,000 bill, and the judge would say, well, why do they want $10,000 bill? And they would say because of the extent of the crime or the situation, they feel as though that this will be a feasible amount of bail for them to be able to have. And
They
one
don't
day,
want-
yeah, one day, like I said, I seen a judge kind of go with Commonwealth for everything down the board.
Mhm.
Like he didn't give the public defender's office one go-to.
Right.
And then sometimes you do have private attorneys on there also.
Right.
And they will come on there, and they usually let the private attorney clients go first before the ones that have the public defender's office.
Okay.
Oh, and another thing, just an FYI, even if you're not eligible for the PD going forward after your arraignment, the new way that they do a pre-trial that is kind of good is that if you can't get in touch with your attorney that night to come on to the arraignment hearing,
Mhm.
you will be able to have the PD for that exact hearing only, even
Right.
if you don't qualify going forward
Right.
for services.
Yeah, no, that's good. Because I mean, like we said, either you got 24 to 48 hours and you're in custody. So how are you finding an attorney unless you have an attorney on retainer or like, you know what I mean, in your memory to contact them. I would, if I got arrested tonight, I wouldn't have an attorney's phone number. I'd have to call somebody to tell somebody to call somebody.
Yeah. And you're right about that. About sometimes some family members don't know where their loved ones are at, and they're right in incarceration.
Right. Because you had and what would you say the age range of the folks? Because you mentioned a lot of women, and we see that with the bail fund is that we have upwards of 60% of the people that we post bail for now are women, and a lot of it is retail theft. And so, what age range would you say, particularly with the firearms charge? Are they young people? Are they older people? Middle-aged people? And would you have co-occurring disorders?
So I want to say the age range that I have seen personally has been between 18 and 72 years old.
That's an entire lifespan.
Yeah. And I told you that it was very hurtful for the 72-year-old man that got picked up on arraignment. And it was sad because, number one, to me personally, I don't think he was competent.
Right.
And I believe that he has some mental health issues. And I think he had a little touch of dementia or Alzheimer's.
Okay. And you said this was a public urination situation.
Yes.
And they gave him how much bail?
$2,500 cash bail.
Yeah, like
2020. No, let me get it right. 2577.
Okay. So he had a probation detainer violation of some sort, or maybe he was on probation or parole when
Out of Philadelphia County. Now the PD's office did fight for him just to get unsecure all the way, so that he can go face his music in Philadelphia, because the charges was a little bit more extent in Philadelphia than it was here in Montgomery County.
Right.
But they didn't get their way that night.
Wow. And so for those that don't understand, in order for this man to move on to Philadelphia from Montgomery County, he's going to have to pay that $2,577 before he'll be able to go to Philadelphia and answer the charges there.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
That's really ridiculous. Like, they could have held him, called Philly to come get him, you know what I mean, on the 77 or whatever, unsecured that one. They came and got him, and, like, come on.
And let me tell you a experience that I had with a guy with a $77 bill. So $77 is usually a detainer of some sort with probation. So this specific man went, and friend posted the $77 for him. And he went to the DJ's office where the man's friend told him to go to. And the specific guy called me up and he said, well, I posted the bill about 5 or 6 or 7 hours ago, and my friend didn't get out of jail. So I went and I called the DJ's office to find out why, and come to find out that was a warrant fee to get lifted for another situation the guy had. So I turned around and I called you, and you bailed the guy out on a $77 bill that he got kind of paid twice, but the one was going for fines and costs, and the one that you did was for him to be able to get out on because the probation lifted his detainer.
Wow.
And I believe he has court coming up in March.
Yeah. What are the odds of the dollar amount being the same?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we know that 77 is their code for a detainer. So why would a bench warrant fee But yeah, I thought it was $56 to be honest, but maybe it changes or, depending on the court. But that's wild. And why wouldn't they put it all together and say, okay, this is what you need for your freedom? The 100 and what does it come to? $4 for $277 bails. So it's just nutty. It's nutty. So I know you're out and about, so I'm not going to keep you too long. Before we get into my favorite segment, we're going to show you our crazy video. We're having, we couldn't do our in-person Love Bonds fundraiser. We are so sad. Everybody's like suffering, like figured out how to like get through Valentine's Day without doing our comedy variety show and all that kind of stuff. And so we were doing our online raffle extravaganza. There's still time to get tickets, but check out this video that we made to have some fun and get y'all out here to have what I say date night after the big night.
Hey y'all, Valentine's Day is around the corner and we would be hosting our live in-person Love Bonds variety show. But if you know or if you don't know, Valentine's Day is on a Friday this year and our venues, our vendors, and our artists are in high demand. And as a fundraiser, we couldn't compete with that. So our creative geniuses had to go back into the lab and they came back with the date night raffle extravaganza. Every $10 donation gets you not one, but 2 chances to win one of our fabulous prizes to some of our favorite places to eat and play. And this just in, we've extended the deadline to purchase tickets and to make donations till February 28th, the end of the month. So hit up your mamas, your baby mamas, your baby daddies, your little baby cousins' daddies, and all them people to get tickets. Extravaganza.
That was not my fault. Zach is crazy. So yeah, and we've added more. You have to check out our social media to see. There's Eddie V's, and we've got couples yoga. We got couples exercise, couple movie theater tickets, things like that. Dave and Buster's. So there's a whole host of fun things to do. To have a date night or friends night, whatever you want to call it, with the people that you love. So that's what it's all about. And the live drawing that you saw will be on March 4th. So get your tickets. $10 will get you 2 entries into the drawing. It will be done online live on the 4th. And so, Taria, since you've been doing the arraignment courts via Zoom, my favorite segment is the what the fuck moment. What would you say would be a WTF moment through the arraignment court process?
My WT would be pretty much when the F will. We just learned that this jail thing is not for us. And we just it's cheaper to stay out. Like how they say it's cheaper to keep her, it's cheaper to stay out. Because once you're in the system, it is so hard to get out the system.
Yes.
And we have to learn to just stay out of the mix and just try to just go straight selling. It ain't worth it.
Right. Yeah, especially with those firearms charges. I mean, that's nothing to play with. And we experience, with some folks that we know that even making a mistake on the paperwork. So maybe you thought you had your right to be able to legally purchase a firearm, or that your charges were juvenile charges, or that they got expunged, or that wasn't a component of a guilty plea for whatever it was. You were not understanding that you could legally not purchase a firearm, and you mistakenly check that box and say, no, I haven't been convicted of a crime, or whatever it is, the question that they ask that says you are able to purchase a firearm. And let me say this, because this is the conversation that we were having, like as we were kind of debating and trying to make sense of it. The gun shop owner, the dealers, the people that sell you these firearms, they do not care that you are not eligible to purchase a firearm. They will take your fee, whatever. I'm sure there's an upfront fee, to, run the paperwork, run the background check, do all that stuff. They're getting money. They don't care how it comes back. You know what I'm saying? Because they are not getting in trouble. They are not facing 5+ years in prison because you screwed up and filled out the paperwork wrong, or you forgot that you had a charge or whatever it was that made you ineligible to legally own a firearm. Do not play with these folks with these guns. Stop playing with them. You will go to jail. You will not pass go. You will not collect $200. You know what I'm saying? They will take you and your family through the ringer because you went and let me say this. I understand the times that we are living in, and I understand that our young people and everybody is in fear for their life because of police brutality, the gun violence that's going on with our youth, the drugs and the robberies and the poverty. All of that stuff is making people feel unsafe and feel like they need to carry a firearm. I get it. There's other ways to protect yourself that will not get you locked up because you filled out the paperwork wrong. You know what I'm saying? So do the research, check your docket, call somebody and ask, are you eligible to purchase a firearm at a dealer or a gun shop or wherever, where they're going to make you fill out the paperwork and you're going to have to register it. There are things that go along with being a responsible firearm owner. So do your due diligence because you will go to jail if you don't. If you've had a criminal history of any sort, make sure you double check so that you do not find yourself, like Taria said, in the clutches of this system over a clerical error. They do not give a damn. They give 0 fucks about your clerical error because you should know. And we are telling you now, you should know. Do not play games with these folks and these guns, especially if you're going to a place where they do these checks. I'm not saying go get one out somebody's trunk. Not saying that. But if you're going to a store, you got to show your driver's license and you got to give them your address and your social and all of that. You better make sure you are eligible to purchase a firearm. So anything you want to add to that? Because you're seeing
it. Yeah. And you're right, because it was a guy on there about 2 weeks ago that went to a firearm store and he purchased a firearm and he got they gave him $10,000 cash bail, but I guess he was not eligible to buy a firearm because he had mental issues. So right there, they gave him falsification of the application. Like he knew legally he could not attain a firearm
because of what his mental diagnosis was.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, you learn, and this is why we do this. This is why we do this, because you see all the scenarios. There's the scenarios are endless as to how you can get caught up in the system if you don't know. And people are so repulsed by the criminal legal system because it's scary, it's shameful. We're it's like we're being voyeurs into people's lives and their dirty little secrets because, oh, you got caught doing something wrong. Well, I didn't intend to do. I mean, he was trying. If he knew, right? I get it. But there's so many ways that you can get caught up in this system, and like Taria said, it is extremely, extremely difficult to get out. It's like in school, we all start at 100%, right? We all start out with A's, and it slowly but surely, gets chipped away when we get poor grades, we don't show up, we don't turn in our homework, like we don't do all this stuff. And so now it's the end of the marking period and you got a D and you got to get your grades up. You can turn in 15 assignments and you only move up 5 percentage points. And it's like, had you just did that in the beginning, you wouldn't be fighting this uphill battle, right? And now you're scraping and scrounging, you're pleading and begging, and nobody wants to do that. You know what I mean? Just do the right thing from the door. Do your due diligence. Nobody's perfect. We understand stuff happens, but yeah, I mean, do your due diligence from the door, because it is not worth it. All of these young people that are going to jail, like you said, 18, we're not going to see the juvenile court on here because that's private. But, you know, we know juveniles are going to the detention center every day. You know what I'm saying? And it's like for serious crimes. And it's like, come on, kids, we got to do better. Come on, parents, we got to do better. Come on, you know, Gen Zs and Xers and all that stuff. We got to do better. We do not want to be on here talking about y'all. We want to be talking about how y'all are excelling in academics or sports or whatever creative venues or outlets you're using. We don't want to be talking about how you ignored what we said, you ignored your parents, you following with the wrong crowd, did something stupid, and now, you know what I mean, you have to endure the most traumatic experience, which is navigating the criminal legal system. And it affects everyone in your life, everyone in your family, anybody that knows and loves and cares about you is affected by this process. So, any last words, my sister?
Well, I just want to say, you know, I don't, you know, just do Montgomery County Court. Sometimes I do Philadelphia Court
Right.
also. And one thing I didn't know, that the difference that I see with Montgomery County Courthouse and with Philadelphia Courthouse is Philadelphia Courthouse is packed at all times. It's like packed. I mean, when I say support for their loved ones and for
Right.
someone that is in the legal system, it goes heavy down there. It goes
Right.
heavy to the point where I haven't been in a courtroom down there yet that wasn't wall to wall, where you was like standing ovation. Like you had to basically either you had to go out in the hall and sit and wait because the courtroom was that overpacked and crowded. But I definitely see them show up for their loved ones.
Right.
Montgomery County, it's times that we might be the only ones in that defendant side. Or they might have one or two person there for them. And that's usually a mom or a grandmom, not too many males, but you know, it's like not too many homies. But I see these guys out here, like they're homie down, like they really rock with their homies when it comes to something in Philadelphia. But it is a big court for any court observers that's out there this week. Unfortunately, I know you're not going to be able to, and I'm not going to be able to make the preliminary hearing that's big this week coming up in Montgomery County. On Thursday, it's actually going to be held down at the courthouse, and 9:30 in the morning in courtroom G. Now, courtroom G, we know that that's actually Steve O'Neill's courtroom, and that's not a big courtroom at all.
Right. O'Neill is up in courtroom B. He took over Branca's. He's been living up there. Yeah. So it's been vacant.
But you know what gets me with them when they do these big court hearings? Like this is a big one. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
they know it's going to be a lot of supporting of the victim side.
Right.
And I feel like they're limited the space because courtroom G is not that big. We know that.
It's not.
It's not. They could have gave them courtroom C or courtroom B, courtroom A. I think might be the biggest.
I think it is.
And they did the same thing with another court hearing before when it was 3 defendants. They had it in courtroom F.
It was F. Yeah, and that's probably the smallest of them
and that
all.
was the smallest. So that right there shows you that they already pushed certain people out to want to come and see what's going on.
Right. Well, we have our intern. Our intern will be there because she has been, seeing very. This is the first homicide trial that preliminary hearings and things like that we're seeing this year.
First homicide of the year, yes.
Yes. And so she was eager now, and it sounds crazy, but she wanted to see a trial. And I said, there really are, they do trials for DUIs. Like they do this weird stuff. And so this will be the first one. And she will be there.
So
see.
just let her know that it's going to be one from at 9:30, and then I don't know where the one at 1:30 is going to be held at. But
Oh, okay. I was looking to see if that name was on there, and I didn't see it at the 9:30 slot.
No, it's going to be 1:30.
Okay, yeah, I'll let her know that. To hang back. So, okay, well, I'm not going to hold you. I am going to ask folks to like, follow, and share. We have our YouTube channel, Reuniting Family Bail Fund. That's where you can subscribe to Purely Speculation. You'll get the notification so you won't miss an episode. You go back and watch previous episodes, our IG, Facebook, Reuniting Family. And shout out, oh my goodness, to my sister, Mati Yvonne Platts. She was our guest for Black History Month this month, and she brought the fire. She has a phenomenal rendition of Fannie Lou Hamer, her story and the movement and the work that she was doing, getting in front of presidents, demanding justice for Black and brown people. And so she does a phenomenal rendition of Fannie Lou Hamer. So please, you want to check it out, you can check our Instagram, our YouTube channel, or our website to check out all the our clips and videos and stuff. And one last time, don't forget to purchase your tickets. You've got until Friday, February 28th. That's the last day to buy tickets. The raffle will be live on March 4th. So get your tickets. It ain't gonna be sold out, but get your tickets. All this money helps post those $77 bails, those $100 bails, really helping people move on and try to get their lives back and reduce the amount of pretrial incarceration. Taria, thank you as always. You are a rock star. You be holding it down in the courts, and you about to get busy because we about to have all these interns running around in the courthouse. So you have to
definitely, I just want to say, and what I said about, I just want to put this out here real fast for everyone. The 1:30 hearing on Thursday is really important for a lot of people to come and support, because this young man is being charged for some things that he was doing in defense of himself and his friend.
Correct.
And I want people to show up and show out for him and let the courtroom know that you can't take a victim to be a suspect. Right. I mean, bad enough they had put both of them together on the same bulletin board. Right. And they didn't separate them. So that was already unjust. And this young man is really special to my heart. And I just want on Thursday for people to show up and show out for him, not on social media, like come down to this courthouse and rally for him, that these charges need to be dismissed and dropped and withdrawn.
Absolutely. And he's a father, right? Like
he's a father, he's a son, and he actually just lost his best friend and brother and his little brother. So our hearts go out to him, and I just want everybody to show up and show out for him, and let this, let the justice system do their job and say these charges should have never ever came about at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you are 100% correct. And thank you for that. And so on that, we'll say peace out. Y'all be safe. And yep, I'll see you later. Peace.
See you later. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Purely Speculation. If you learned something, share something. Please like, follow, and share this show. The more our communities know, the more they are empowered, and the faster we can create change. Purely Speculation would not be made possible without the generous support of the Community Justice Exchange, the Health Sparks Frank E. Boston Black Justice Fund, Philadelphia Foundation, and Reform Alliance. Thank you. Booyah!
Intuition different, already lived and dreamt it. Visions make my vision clear as I'm jogging through this fog of life. I be fog eyes with the fog set, body and I'm all set. Baby, can you be my Cardi B on and offset? Toast we got it, self we building still materials.